Going to a live event during the holidays is one of the best feelings. I just took my baby girl to see Juju Watkins and the USC women's basketball team. Special. That's a core memory, man. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier.
If you live in the DMV area, a great holiday gift could be Eagles at Commanders on the 22nd. There's great deals on Game Time right now, like the super deal, and it would be the perfect gift to take someone you love to the game. The app is so easy to use because they have curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on seats. You can see the seat view before you buy, and they have the lowest price guarantee.
I've used the Game Time Picks feature on the app recently, and it makes it way easier to save on whatever event you want to attend. Sports, concerts, comedy, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code JandJ for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code JANDJ for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
It's the most wonderful time of the year for getting in on all the hoops, football and hockey action at DraftKings Sportsbook. In the season of giving, we're being gifted college football and basketball, pro football and basketball, and pro hockey too, almost 24/7.
So many games every day, so many opportunities to place your first bet. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and place your bet. And here's a gift for all new customers. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Welcome to Jenkins and Jones on the Volume Podcast Network. It is Sunday, December 15th. I just burped.
I thought your mouth fell out your mouth, nigga. You felt like you felt.
No, I was about to
damn shit.
Like he was tucking his shit back in, nigga. I'm like, God damn, nigga, you tuck your mouth back in, goddamn.
No, I was about to just full on. I was just telling Jackson, bro. I mean, it's I grill up on Sundays, and so I made 2 fillets and 2 ribeyes tonight for the family. But I was on the fillet was so tender. I think there's meat between every single one of my teeth right now. Like.
Night, you feel me?
But I got the little, I got the little red meat burps. I think I probably have 1.5 ounces of steak in my teeth right now.
That ain't nothing but dessert. You just saving it for later, buddy. You know what I mean? A little treat, even treat. What you mean?
Just for the people watching on YouTube, I'm not making eyes at John and Tyler. I'm trying to work some stuff out right now. You know what I mean? As always, Jenkins, we got NFL talk, we got NBA Cup talk. I have an HR question for Tyler, and we'll have Dookie Bud of the Week. So we want the chat's input as well. YouTube.com/@JenkinsandJones is where you can follow along all the episodes live. As always, Jenkins and Jones hosted by LaJethro Jenkins, a.k.a. John.
What's that, Bubbas?
Dragonfly Jonez, a.k.a. Tyler.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
I'm Guardy B, a.k.a. Mike.
Motherfucking Mike. Motherfucking Mike.
Motherfucking Mike over here.
Mike.
It's anti-Italian discrimination. And as always, we're produced by the lovely and talented, and I would go so far as to say fully bearded at this point, Jackson Saffon.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Jackson, you gonna do like a fade? What we finna do with it? You lining it up? What you doing?
I don't know. What? So I feel like I need tips. I don't know. What am I supposed to do?
Nigga, we wouldn't know other than Mike, but I think
give me the profile view.
Wow, that's a legit beard, brother.
Are you shaving your neck right now?
I haven't touched a razor.
Are you serious?
You
happen to have an exact jawline that shapes the shit on the
one little
like
the
one on the right.
Kind of messed up.
I wouldn't do anything to it, brother.
Get it tapered right in there, baby.
Yeah, I got like a couple like rogue that are hard to see.
Let me see that profile again. Let me see that side profile again.
I'm curious about this.
Let me go this side.
Look. Taper. Yeah, you need that simple
I
fade.
I like how you got the fade on the side, and then it kind of falls down into your beard being a bit on the same consistency with that. That's a good look right there, dog. Like I think that's
yeah. Okay.
I'm actually really angry.
And line it up. You be in there, bro. I need to see that.
I'm pissed. The way his
That's
shit
crazy.
grows under his chin is like perfect. Like this is August covered in hair for me, and it's not like it looks real Wolfman. Like it actually connects to my chest hair, like right
Wow.
here. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
don't
mean?
have that.
It
So
connects to your
I've got like
chest.
I
I've
have
got like
a
a
little
couple rogue
spot over
spots.
my Adam's apple that doesn't grow hair. Everything else is straight
What'd
hair
you say?
from here.
He's
Though.
Wait, are you
Yeah.
being serious?
It connects to his
Next
chest
to his
hair.
chest hair.
That's
Look.
crazy.
This I haven't shaved in like 2 days. It just comes right down here, and then it gets straight into the fucking.
What is
chest
that?
hair, bro.
Viking? What like what does that come from? You know what I mean? Like
Italians are hairy motherfuckers, bro. It's just a little. And
Italian
I'm a
alone will
Southern
get-
Italian. Like it's
Okay.
just we're just hairy little people.
goodness gracious.
So
Beard to
Jackson, like
chest
I
is
have to work.
crazy.
I have to shave even with a full beard. I have to shave 3 times a week to get what Jackson has. I have to shave my neck.
What do
You
you-
just your shit
Oh.
just does that naturally. That's really pisses me off, bro.
What do you call that? Is there a word for the beard to chest connection?
No. Well, the neck thing is
I
a
heard
neck
of a
beard,
neck
which is not a
beard, but, like,
positive, not a positive
yeah.
term.
Yeah,
I don't know. I got it here. It's probably not in thick enough right now, but it's here and it's here, and there is like a little like you go to a theme park and you get
Like
the
an
penny
island of
smash flat.
skin?
It's like
Yeah.
that, like over my Adam's apple. That's the only part really of my entire body that doesn't grow hair at this point. And my palms.
You a teen wolf
My
ass
fault.
nigga. That's crazy.
It's progressing
bro.
to that point, bro.
Elijah in the chat said, "Damn, Mike's a werewolf."
It's,
for
I
real."
mean,
Yeah, bro.
sort of, bro. Like I'm evaluating, I'm evaluating my options as far as my chest and back hair, as I'm a 40-year-old Italian man. Anyway, we're talking about Jackson.
I know that ear hair goes crazy, don't it? The ear hair be doing numbers, doesn't it?
Can I be honest with you? I've started this year. I've started getting ear hair. It was actually like
really?
right
Okay.
after it was actually like right after I turned 40.
What are you gonna do about it? You gonna wax
I've been
it?
plucking it out.
Okay.
Wax it?
I have a buddy that gets his whole shit waxed.
He gets wax poured into his
Seems
ear canal?
dangerous.
I mean, he ain't got no hair on him, except for the right here, obviously. But he gets everything
Oh, he
else
goes
waxed.
whole
Everything
whole
else is
situation.
waxed, bro.
Oh wow.
This motherfucker be walking around sounding like patent leather, nigga. My nigga Jabari said his boots probably whistle. Bro,
I don't even know how to react to that.
This nigga be getting everything waxed. Crazy. Go ahead though.
Yeah, I gotta do some upkeep with the nose and ear hair at this point. That's life as a
Yeah.
40-year-old
Get a
Italian
little
American.
the little man.
I use the
you feel me?
scissors. I'm
Oh.
a scissors guy. Just get in
Is
there.
that
and
like,
clip,
come
clip,
on,
clip.
bro? Like that seems dangerous. Like that's
That seems more dangerous than putting a motor inside your body.
yes.
No.
Because the motor doesn't have that sharp edge and it's made for these particular locations.
Mm.
Scissors are not made for your nose, bro. I'm sorry.
I think I am too broke at heart to go spend money on a trimmer that is only for my nose hair. I don't
It's like $6.33, dog. Like
I already got the scissors, man. I don't know.
all right, brother. First topic: NFL football. I'll be back in 30
Speaking of
minutes.
beards.
God
See you,
damn.
John. Tyler, we were talking right before we started recording. Bills, obviously the Packers Seahawks game just ended. I needed the Seahawks to lose, so I got to enjoy the Packers winning, which is not something I would usually say. But big game today.
Are you still holding on to hope? I see you're still doing win-lose
Yeah.
scenarios, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, it's over, bro.
I know it is. You're right.
As a Niners fan, it is over for y'all, man. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but yes, we can put a pin in that and circle back. But
Well, hold on. I mean, it was like because we needed to beat the Rams, really, and not only did we not beat the Rams, we had dudes quitting the team in the middle of the game.
bro, the monitor said, "I'm not going back out." He said, "For what?" He pulled the Ricky Waters for who? For what? Like, goddamn. Bro, the whole squad. I was amazed by how, when that shit happened, I was like, man, we're really not going to get the scoop on what's going on with that, because I thought all the 49er players were just going to be on that cliche, we're a team, we're family, we'll handle that in-house, no comment. Every 49er they talked to was like, that motherfucker got to go. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything. And then motherfucking John Lynch is petitioning the NFL office to know the maximum fine he can give him because they don't want to cut him and they pay him and have him go to another team. Right? Like he that is some shit where it's like, bro, we legitimately do not want to fuck with you. You're only still here because we don't want to pay. We don't want your life to get better when you leave us. Right. That's how much we dislike you. We are willing to ride this out with you and make this shit awkward for all of us before we let you go free. Like, that's so wild to me, bro.
Yeah. John, I'm going to bring your attention to this topic because I think you'd find it out. I think you find it outrageous. I know you don't want to talk about who's going to win the Super Bowl.
I was looking it up, but go ahead.
So the Niners put a guy in for an injury, and he literally was like, "I'm not going in. Like, fuck y'all. Like, he's like, I'm not going to go in right now. I don't feel like playing." And so
why?
He just didn't feel like playing. I think he didn't like that he wasn't starting, and so he was going in for a guy who was injured.
The guy who's coming back from injury has been on the Niners for a long time. He's very, very good. One of the best linebackers in the league.
In hours if he goes on waivers if they cut him. So
talking about Devondre, that's the dude. Devondre
Dre Greenlaw is a guy.
Okay, Dre Greenlaw, and then Devondre Campbell was a guy who had been starting
over
in his spot,
not doing a great job.
And then once Dre Greenlaw was back, once Dre Greenlaw got like tweaked his calf or whatever.
Oh, then Devondre.
They wanted to put Devondre back in, and he was like, "I'm good."
But I just want to emphasize, like what Tyler was saying. An NFL teammate of his said, "quote That's some sucker shit." Like,
oh wow,
bro, nice ass George Kittles was like, "Fuck this guy." That motherfucker is like a Walter Payton Man of the Year finalist every year. Like he's nice as shit.
Right. But they were like, I mean, it was like let's
what are they
going to
do
bro.
with him? Like, where does this lead?
Let's be honest. Guys have committed crimes and not had players say, "I hope we cut him." And you have multiple players like, yeah, hopefully he's not with the team much longer. Like, hopefully they cut him. I've never heard.
So it's bigger than just that moment that it has.
Yeah, you can tell that
there's some other shit going on.
You can tell it was bigger than just that single moment for sure.
Yeah.
That was what Tyler said on Twitter. He's just like, imagine how much pent up frustration there is for you to throw all the NFLPA shit out the window and be like, "Fuck him, he's a sucker. I hope they cut him."
Which player said this?
All of them.
Oh, okay.
Many
all
players
said this about
him.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it was it was a little crazy. All right. But I appreciate you being a good friend, Tyler.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, man. Sometimes we have to deliver harsh truths to our friends. It comes from a place of love, bro. You know. So.
The Commanders look like Jackson, Texas. The Commanders are about to commander, and then the Saints sainted harder than the Commanders commandered today. So congrats to you. I think that close. It doesn't clinch, but I think that puts y'all at like a 90% playoff.
Yeah, we're at like 85%. But as a Washington fan, that 15%, man, I believe it when I see it, dog. Like this is a team that if you watch the game tonight, like the first half, Washington dominated. I was like, oh yeah, easy money. Then they put Rattler in and shit, the whole fucking tide turned. It's unique how New Orleans has been sitting on Rattler because I feel like, we were discussing before how people were like, what is this whole Dochi thing feels manufactured? And I was like, y'all just have never seen an artist roll out before. Right. And it feels like they're doing, I don't have any criticisms for the way the Saints are bringing Rattler along. It feels like they're doing like the throwback bringing along of their new quarterback where you let him sit for a year and learn before you really put him out there. Right. Like, but then they put him out there today, bro. And he looked like he had the goods. We only really saw like one half of football from him, but he got him back in. He went, he scored what could have been the game-winning touchdown if they converted the 2 points. Like that kid looks like he has the goods, bro. But as for the Washington dog, a holding penalty on that callback completion that would have put them on like the one and locked that game up. We saw like 2 crucial drops. I'm like, bro, as soon as I came back on board, that motherfucking carriage turned into a pumpkin, man. I might be bad luck, dog.
Don't hold it against yourself. I think like you brought up at the time, the Cliff Kingsbury shit seems to be cyclical. Like people have talked about, like that does happen. But again, you have, if I were to ask you before the season, what would your highest hopes ever for this team be? It would just be finding out that the quarterback is the real deal. You already found that out. So it's like everything else feels like is gravy to some extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a real deal quarterback, 9-5 record. What am I really complaining about here as a Washington fan? So.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I was kind of laughing at like, I don't think I have any friends who are more negative about their team than Rita was about the Ravens, who like Lamar is having one of the best seasons in football history. and they're like, you know what I mean? But they're in the same spot the Niners are in, where you're just like, you've just been close for too long. And so it just doesn't feel, it's like soured everything. You know what I mean? You're not enjoying it at this point. It's just like, you know, they got an all-time quarterback, and she's just like, please don't embarrass me today.
Yeah. I mean, and she's got good reason. That defense, dog. But yeah.
All right. Tyler, am I crazy? I watched the Bills-Lions game, and I feel like the Bills are the best team in football right now. And I feel like, I understand it's the Buffalo Bills. I understand they have not won a Super Bowl. I think they're the best team in football. I feel like they could win the Super Bowl. Am I crazy?
No, not at all. They're one of the handful of teams that could win the Super Bowl, right? I think there's Buffalo's there. I think Baltimore's there, who we just talked about, even though that defense might be a bit suspect. Kansas City, of course, and Detroit. And you can put Philly in there today with the win they had today. That was pretty impressive. I'm not all that big of a believer on Philly, mainly because I think Detroit is the real goods in that conference. I think Detroit's coming out of there. But yeah, I mean, bro, I think Josh Allen locked up his MVP today. He's had, 2 games of back-to-back 40 balls that he's put up on squads. Had like 360 passing yards, 60 rushing yards, 4 total touchdowns. He's playing the best football of his life. And I was on the side of Lamar was the MVP earlier on the season. I think Josh Allen has surpassed him in my eyes right now. I think they're probably going to do the cop-out where they do the whole Josh Allen MVP, Lamar Jackson Offensive Player of the Year. That's probably how this is going to shake down. But you know who's getting fucked over the most there? Motherfucking Saquon. Did you see that stat about how he has had 11 runs that went down to the 1, and 10 of those resulted in tush-push touchdowns for Jalen? Did you see that stat? That's wild, bro. Because Saquon's on pace for 2,000 yards. He's got like 11 TDs right now, so he'd probably finish with like 25 if we tack those 10 on, right? If you got 2,000 yards, 25 TDs, you're probably winning MVP. You know what I mean? So it's wild that the tush push is like altering NFL history. Everybody pushing Jalen Hurts on his ass is altering the history books of football.
They're just like, if you've ever been around like a quarterback, it doesn't happen as much now that they're all in shotgun, but if you've ever been around a real offensive line and quarterback coaches meeting, teaching a quarterback how to take the snap, and they're like, you got to get your knuckle up into his gooch, like really push that gooch. Like it's so anatomical. And I feel like the tush push is the same. It's like, you got to have both cheeks. You got to have that U-shape under his butt cheeks.
Them haunches.
It's just like working the sled. You got that upward motion through the butt cheek.
You want to see that thing jiggle when you give it a good thrust. That's when you want to see the recoil on the booty cheeks when you push up. Palms out.
If the quarterback's not feeling that in the shoulder blades, you're not pushing hard enough.
He needs to feel it in his stomach when you clap them cheeks.
That footage is sealed, bro. That's not coming out of the Hard Knocks edit. You know what I mean? That's gonna be. Someone's gonna have to break into NFL Films and steal that teach tape. 20 years.
The gooch tapes. The secret gooch tapes.
Secret gooch tapes. Y'all are some wild ass.
But someone had one of those clips with, it was either Peyton or Brady talking about, I like to take this knuckle, put it right in the butthole so that when that ball comes up, it just comes right. But if you're around, like that is really how they talk about it. If you have to use the geography of the player in front of you to teach them what they're supposed to do. And I agree with Tyler. I think that the tush push, they're not just pushing them willy-nilly.
Hey, it's like
it does feel like the Eagles, right, are the ones who've mastered it. So I wonder what they know about the anatomy of the tush push, right? Like, what are they saying to their players that's different than the other teams. What angle in the booty cheek is the right angle to really
that's what
maximize
I'm saying.
I'm
not trying to be Andrew Schultz or some shit. I'm just saying there's a video somewhere of them telling Jalen Hurts, you got to bend all the way forward so that when they push you in the butt, you're launched at a certain trajectory. Like somewhere that tape exists. That's all I'm saying.
That shit is wild.
All right. Okay, so I'm not crazy for thinking the Bills might win the Super Bowl. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it.
The Bills are also good at the tush push. So Josh Allen has scored multiple touchdowns recently.
A hoss at quarterback is a nice element in the tush push, regardless of how the tush is being pushed. Yes,
I love a
good
hoss.
Jalen Hurts can squat like 1,000 pounds, and Josh Allen is like basically Hercules, right? Like that definitely helps.
Did they say hoss out here? He's a hoss. They said that out here. Did they say
to make
that?
fun of y'all.
Oh, okay.
You know,
what's the California equivalent of a hoss?
A big motherfucker.
A big motherfucker. He's a strong guy.
That's not as fun. That's not as fun.
Yeah.
Very seldomly have I heard motherfucker.
The term I think I would have heard cross racially out here would probably be a load. Like, oh, he's a load, you know, and like now I think the kids all say wagon, which is I feel like really like a heavy baseball thing.
Oh, that's
a load. I feel like load is really offensive line coded more than universal as hoss. Like hoss could be a QB, it could be a tight end, it could be a running back. You know what I mean?
At least out here, I've heard like really good receivers, running back. I've heard a lot of like, and again, by white coaches, black coaches, like scout, you know what I mean? I feel like I've heard that West Coast would be
wagon is fun. I'm cool. He's a wagon.
What I like about wagon is it gets used in every way. Like you could, like a guy could be a wagon, but a team could also be a wagon, or like a play concept could be a wagon. You know, like the tush push is a wagon.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jalen Hurts is also a wagon.
That's
like,
yeah.
The Eagles right now after today, definitely a wagon. Yeah. All right.
I'm with it.
The other thing, the funniest, nicest way you could call someone fat is when you're coaching baseball and a kid is rounding like a base and he's really struggling to
laboring,
and you yelling, you know, unhitch the wagon. That's a great.
That's funny. The only way that I've heard the wagon,
I have not, but I have been a part of. I've seen it yelled.
No way! People are actually yelling that.
The wagon, yeah.
At kids.
Sure. But
God, that's crazy.
I mean, what is the kid thinking? What's the kid thinking?
He's thinking, I gotta unhitch this motherfucking wagon.
Thinking, I gotta run.
Get that giddy up in me. You feel what I'm saying? Hit the motherfucking afterbird. Unhitch the wagon.
That's crazy. The way the chat thinks about the word wagon is the way that I also thought the word wagon was used. I did not know about this way the wagon was used. I thought of it more as Miles put it in the chat. I thought wagon was for stallions of the Megan variety. I've heard it.
That is also a usage for sure.
Okay,
I'm talking about
that seems to be the
universal usage for that.
Got it. Okay,
yeah,
I hadn't heard that variety. No, I don't think the chat had either.
What's the worst term you've heard for a big butt? I think dumper.
I love it.
I hate dumper, bro.
I love dumper. I love thumper. You know what I'm saying? Tank. I've heard tank, nigga. You know what I mean? Okay. There's a.
Tank is good.
I'm a fan of it all, bro. I think
I like
thumper. She got that thumper on it, bro.
I think since I've had to change diapers, I don't want to hear dumper associated with an aesthetically pleasing. I don't.
You're not a thumb in the butt guy, huh?
Huh?
You don't.
Oh, how dare you? I'm not gonna go the Stephen A. Smith on a bottom feeder route, bro. But how dare you?
I was for the judge. I was about to judge.
This is wild.
Yo,
this Sunday evening,
on the Lord's Day,
2024.
On the Lord's Day. How dare you? It's hilarious. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Famously a butt thumper. All right.
Relax.
Famously.
Relax.
Famously
is crazy.
All right.
I am the butt guy.
You haven't heard?
Oh God. You are crazy, bro.
All right.
We are off the rails.
Hey, Sunday night. You know,
it started with the recoil of the butt. It started with that, nigga. There was no going back after you said feel the recoil of the button. Nigga.
Recoil.
It was over with.
Oh yeah. Didn't Saquon set the Eagles single season rushing record like 13 games into the season too, Tyler? No one ever a front office is maybe not fucked up as badly as the Giants fucked up by paying Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. Like that is going to go down as an all-time goofy fucking thing.
Just the whole, I mean, we're in the era of, the running back is just interchangeable. He's,
not if you got a good O-line.
Yeah, and exactly. And Saquon is not, bro, you cannot find another Saquon, dog.
No, I think they said that
a one-on-one.
The three leading rushers in the NFL are Saquon Barkley before contact, and Saquon Barkley after contact. Like, it's like, get the fuck out of here. The running backs are interchangeable. It's a good time to be it's a good time to be Ashton Shenty. What is this, John?
No, don't say it.
Can I take us off the rails a little, just like even more, just for like one quick second?
Okay, go ahead.
It's on topic. It's on topic, just off the rails. Someone in the chat said the booty bandit about something we were talking about, which reminded me that when I was in college, when I was at USC, I swear
you were the booty bandit of Figueroa?
No, I was not. But there was a booty bandit. Someone was going around slapping girls' asses at USC, which is like assault, obviously. Yes. But it was such a widespread thing that it was known on campus as the booty bandit. The school is putting out, the school police department is putting out like stories about the booty bandit and how to like, I think they got him eventually. Yeah.
Get him off the streets. Fuck you mean?
College is crazy because the most horrible shit gets a funny nickname like that for sure.
Right. It was the funniest nickname, but of an objectively very bad thing.
Right.
All right, let's talk a little NBA Cup. We got little show announcement. We will be live Tuesday night after the NBA Cup championship game between the Bucks and the Thunder.
They're stretching this
Tuesday night.
Boy.
What's that?
They're stretching it out.
You feel like they are?
I mean, like I would have wanted the game before Tuesday personally. You know what I mean?
So Saturday semifinals like Monday, or you think right away into Sunday?
Friday, and then let's play Sunday, bro.
Yeah,
but I mean, like it's football season, so they ain't competing with the football games. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but it's just
Friday, Saturday, maybe Friday, Saturday.
I don't know. I would have been a fan of that. You feel me? Let's get it bink right in. You know what I'm saying? Like
Saturday, Monday is how they do the
I don't like Monday for it. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm with John. I think Tuesday is kind of a weird. Like I'm gonna have the boys over like on Tuesday night for the NBA Cup. Bro. Like
I mean, play Saturday could be a thing. If the championship on Saturday could be a thing. Go ahead.
I think Tuesday is the perfect day for it because I don't think that we're at the stage in the NBA season where people are clearing out their weekends to stay home and watch regular season ball when we're 25 games deep on a Saturday.
True.
Right? You can't do Sunday and Monday because of the NFL. I think Tuesday is the logical choice here.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like, you saw how cheap the ticket prices were. I'm thinking like if it's Friday, Saturday, and it's 4 teams that we're interested in, for me, it enormously raises the chances I just take many. Like we'll drop $200 on Friday and Saturday tickets. We'll get one night at a decent hotel. Like, you know what I mean? You can get in and out of there for cheaper than it costs to go to
Ain't
one
nobody
Lakers
going
game.
to Vegas for Saturday and Tuesday though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly,
or just a Tuesday. You know?
Hey, bro. I mean, I could do Vegas. I have a lower tolerance for the Vegas lifestyle than most adult men. I understand that, but 48 hours in Vegas that's plenty for me. Much more than that, and I start getting fucking itchy. And I think most of my friends would say 72 hours. But it's like Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Monday, all day Tuesday. You leave on Wednesday. That's a long Vegas trip, bro.
Vegas to me is a go in Friday evening, leave Sunday afternoon, morning type situation. You know what I mean?
That's
I got one full day in Vegas. After that, it's like, I got to sleep again and wake up again here. Like the fuck? You know what I mean? My asthma won't allow me to do that. Well, you know what I mean? Fuck you mean? Sheesh.
All right. Tyler, you tweeted about that. You actually tweeted kind of exactly what I was thinking. Are we underappreciating Giannis somehow? Like, I just like this dude blocks a fucking alley-oop attempt. I don't know how many other people I've ever seen block an alley-oop attempt, and it's now like a move of his. Had a block of an alley-oop at a critical stage. I think 2.5 minutes left of the game against the Hawks. Obviously, his numbers over the last like 7 games are fucking preposterous. Did we somehow lose track of this dude because there was a big trade. They didn't win a championship, and then they got a laughing stock, kind of as a coach. Like, how did it be that it feels like the basketball world is a little surprised by how good Giannis has been lately?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably guilty of this too. Like last postseason, I was like, I think Luka's the second best player in the world. I think he's bumped Giannis down a notch, right? When my order goes, it went Giannis, I went Joker, Giannis, Luka. And now that is my order, right? I don't think Luka's number 3 anymore. I do think that Joker's the best player in the world. Giannis is 1B, right? I don't think the gap is as wide as it used to be, especially depending on this season. But yeah, it's bro, like, we were writing this Bucks team obituary, like they got to blow it up. I don't know how they make it through this. And then Giannis was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to remind y'all that I'm perhaps the best player in the world. And then that seemed to fix everyone's problems. Like it was that simple of a fix, right? So yeah, man. I mean, and Jackson dropped the stat in there about how like his mid-range numbers are like the best in the league right about now, like even better than like Kevin Durant's and shit. Like he's just playing phenomenal ball right now, dog.
I mean, some of the moves I saw him do. I mean, he moving smooth in that motherfucker. You said he like the little fake to the right fadeaway joint he did. That was nasty. I'm like, I've never seen Giannis moving like that. So yeah, but I think with them, he's had crazy numbers his whole career. So the point if they're not winning, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, the numbers this year, I mean, he's having one of the best statistical numbers of his career. I mean, seasons of his career. So like, yeah, I feel like he kind of reeled us back in, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I think that can be good. I mean, I think when you have Giannis playing the way he is, Dame's, been playing better. I think they'll be solid. I think they have a real good chance of winning this cup for sure. I think they'll probably beat OKC, honestly.
You think so?
I think they will. I think they will. I think you just have the two best players. I won't say 2 because SGA is better than I think SGA is the second.
Oh, yeah.
I think you know what I'm saying. But the way Giannis seems like SGA is great, and I think OKC has a better team. But Giannis is playing the way how he did in the past, where he could just like alter the game. Like, okay, had enough. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it back on. Let's shit back going our way. So I mean, that's how I feel right now.
Do you feel like? Would you maybe say you think the Thunder would win a series, but in a one-off game because of that Giannis effect? You take the Bucks.
If it was, 7 games of that is difficult. In the best of 7 series, it's hard to do that. 4 games that's difficult, but I think in one game he for sure can do it. For sure.
Tyler, what do you think? Who do you think is winning on Tuesday?
That's a good one, man. I'm still going OKC. I still think OKC is the best team in the league. And they have just been playing phenomenal ball during this whole run recently. So I'm going OKC.
That first half was kind of a stinker, though.
Yeah.
They had like 30 with like, I think like tied at 30 with like 4 minutes left. I was like, all right, bro, what are we doing here? The fuck?
I'm going with the Bucks. Vinny and I got a basketball practice Tuesday night, so we'll probably miss the first quarter, and then we're gonna run home. And I know like y'all said, he's always put up good numbers, but there hasn't been as much to cheer for in terms of the team success. Giannis is still, to me, that's my favorite non-Laker probably in the league. Like I love him. I love his story. I love the way he plays. We talked about this stuff with like Jokic. Like you can appreciate how great Jokic is while him not having the style of basketball that you find like inspiring. Giannis to me is like, that's the superhero shit. Like I watch Giannis and feel like I'm a little kid watching basketball. When you see him, like that's like blocking alley oops is NBA Jam shit.
That's crazy, bro.
He did it to lock up a finals game.
That's what I'm saying. Like
blocked an alley oop to lock up a finals game, dog. Come on, man. He did.
But like you think about, being
and
around
he sold
NBA
out with
players.
his body too. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he did get. Threw his whole shit into like, the way he fell. I was what the fuck? But yeah. He just plays basketball in a way you don't see people play basketball. Where he just doesn't give a fuck about
the selling out.
Moment, you know what I'm saying?
The selling out with your body part of it is what makes him extremely easy.
That's what I love about his game, bro. Yes.
Like Jokic, we can laugh at it. It's almost like it's interesting how good he is when it seems like he's not trying that hard or like likes horses more than basketball. It's cool and interesting and like silly almost. But like when you're actually rooting for a player, it's Giannis trying harder than Jokic or Luka or Tatum or any of the other best players.
Trying harder just because their games are so
maybe that's not maybe that's
like but the effort,
their
like
games
the way he's using his body is different. And I would say like Jokic is the supremely interesting to me intellectually player, And Giannis is emotionally the easiest to connect with for me, just with the way that he plays and his story and everything else. So I don't know. Go Bucks. we'll see what happens. What do y'all want to talk about this NBA rating shit? I feel like we're just it's just rinse repeat, bro. Like, but it is a thing. I mean, it is a thing. Like, maybe we could have the first ever conversation where people don't just use the NBA ratings to confirm their own separate opinions about basketball or the NBA. You know what I mean? Because that's what I feel like Twitter is just like, if you feel like hot dogs are too expensive at Clippers games, you're like, they raise the fucking prices on hot dogs. Now the ratings are down. You know what I mean? Like, whatever your gripe is, people are just getting that off, you know, like, and that makes it unproductive. And what bothers me is there is inside of that, actually, I think a really interesting conversation about like what you connect to, like the analytics that produce wins versus the style of play that makes fans and that makes you care about the game. We were kind of just touching on that.
The style of play is not interesting to fans as it used to be.
I think that I don't know that I think that, but I think there's an interesting conversation to be had around that. And I do think like people are isolating these clips of 2 minutes where there'll be like 15 missed threes in a row or something. And I do think there's something to that. I think my argument around threes would probably be less that it's not interesting. I think we all agree that like the Warriors style when they were great was that like the most beautiful
basketball we've ever seen. Period.
But I would use the analogy like from comics that like there was a period when Watchmen came out, and then I think shortly after that Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns came out, which is like a really dark, gritty Batman story that like every movie that has ever come out is like half based on that book. And what followed after, and those books are masterpieces, like they're taught in college classes for literature and all this other shit. What followed after that was like 10 years of horrible copycat shit where everyone was being as dark as they could, but the characters didn't make sense or the writing wasn't good enough. And it kind of like ruined comics for like 10 years where it was just everyone was like writing the Punisher, just like Daredevil's the Punisher, Superman is the Punisher, like whatever, you know? And I do feel like there is a little bit of that with basketball. Like what made the Warriors style beautiful was the players that were
they had the right players to play that style.
Yeah. And so when, you know, we just had I don't have the stat handy, although I do actually think someone tweeted at us about it. I believe we just had the record set for most missed 3-pointers in an NBA game like last week. 48 in Mavs Warriors. And the old record was just tied the other night with 44 in the Jazz Suns. I do think that that's a less exciting form of basketball, but I think the bigger issue to me, if I were pointing to something with the style, would be the games, because the statistical variability of 3-pointers is bigger because they're worth more. The games are more likely to be blowouts. Like I do feel like your third quarter game is more likely to be a 20-something point game with the dominance of the 3-point shot than it was when obviously people were shooting less valuable shots more often. And so I think that's part of it.
How are the ratings in comparison with the ratings when Jordan left and it was kind of dry for a second? What are those numbers looking like?
I think I don't have market share number for you, but what I would say is this, because the first time this stuff started coming up, you correctly pointed out, is this taking into account the difference between linear and streaming and like all the different types of watching stuff people, because the NBA is much better on social media than most of the other sports leagues. But what you can definitely say at this point is that the NFL ratings are up. Major League Baseball's ratings actually are way up. And the NBA's ratings over that same period of time are down like 25%. Are down like a big percent in comparison to those other leagues, which I do think is like, there should be serious, not just dumbass Twitter. There should be serious conversation about why that is happening.
Truly, because you can't even say that the games don't feel as important as NFL because there's so many of them, right? But like baseball has twice as many.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that's crazy to me that baseball is up that much. And like, you know, the inverse is happening with basketball. That's shocking. I have no explanation for that.
I think like, go ahead, Tyler.
No, I was going to say, I think that's been the main complaint when people are talking about the product, is that it's a homogenous league now, where before there were different styles of play, right? Like before, you know, you had, you know, MJ's Bulls who were killing you in the mid range. You had, you know, the Utah Jazz who were killing you with the pick and roll. You had, the New York Knicks tough nose defense killing you in the front court. So I understand the nostalgia of it, but I feel like that's only where it's coming from, is a place of nostalgia. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I talk to my godson, I talk to my young cousins. They love the NBA, dog, because they don't have the frame of reference that we had as old heads when we were like, there wasn't this one style of basketball that dominated the entire league but when we were coming up in the 90s and shit, right? But I mean, and also my question is this: how do you de-incentivize the most valuable shot in basketball if you want things to change? How are you going to tell people to stop shooting threes when every team can shoot threes at a reasonable enough rate to where they crunch the numbers and they're like, taking more threes is the optimal game plan here?
You would have to actually structurally change something, and I think
there would have to be like a force of nature basketball type guy who's just a mid-range monster, a fucking game changer like Steph was with the 3-ball or some shit like that. But I don't know. I think that the tide will turn, right? Because right now there's all this unexploited land on the basketball court between the 3-point line and the cup, right? And I think that some schemes and such are going to take advantage of that in the upcoming years or so. But I mean, I'm just on the side of, bro, like, ratings and all that, like, that's not my concern. I don't get paid to worry about that, and ratings are booming in my house. You know what I mean? So,
also like Nielsen, like they're using Nielsen ratings, right? I mean, that's what everybody uses.
No, there's like different formulas now to capture streaming and
okay,
like linear versus streaming and everything.
Okay, all right.
And that's why, like, I'm not really interested in the raw numbers, and I'm with Tyler 100% on that. I'm sort of curious, and as someone who likes basketball more than the other sports, I'm curious about its relationship to what's happening with the ratings in the other sports. Like that's kind of interesting to me. But I think they're in a transitionary phase, man. Like, we saw this with the Olympics. We talked about it all summer. There was just so much more interest because like, basketball's personality driven, right? And it is just the case that, like, it's Braun, it's Steph, and it's KD still. It is. And, like, I like the younger players. Y'all like the younger players. But I do feel like they're not dominant in the, like, national imagination right now. I think Jackson made a comment when Wemby came in that some of the excitement around him seemed a little, like, lecherous, like sideshowy, right? But that's part of what has driven the NBA. When I was 8 years old, I literally thought Michael Jordan could fly. Like, I literally thought he has superpowers. And we literally thought Shaq was like, this motherfucker could, like, knock a house down. Like, there are these sort of superhuman figures that are visible in a way that they're not in the NFL, or that is more exciting than the way you see him in a baseball game. So I do think, like, that's part of, again, we talk about Giannis. That's part of what's exciting me about Giannis, bro. Like, he plays like you're playing with action figures when you were a kid, and Wemby is another one of those ones where you're like, I got to take my kids to see Wemby. Like, we might never see anything like this again. Yeah. So, I do think there's, like, an element of that you can see what this next generation will be, and you need them to inhabit that role. I mean, and that'll happen, over the course of the next several years as those old guys retire. But I do think they're in a transitionary phase. I don't really buy the doom and gloom. I do think some of this stuff is cyclical. I like the cup. I understand it hasn't been a massive rating success, and the ticket prices were down this year, whatever. But, I like what they're trying. I do think if it is the 3-pointers, Tyler's right. They'll have to actually change something. They'll have to either extend it out, in which case you can't really go out to the sides anymore, and the corner 3 is still going to be the exact same shit. But if you do move it out, or people have talked about not having it run down the sides, but just extending out in an arc, that would free up more space for one-on-one shit. I agree with you. It would look stupid, but this is the difference between basketball and baseball or football. It looks probably stupid as fuck when they put the 3-point line in. If you've been watching basketball for 30 years without it, but it's a sport that tries shit and invents itself. I think Bomani says something today that's the only reason I actually put this on the topic list, because we usually kind of, I think we all have the stance Tyler has. Like, I don't really give a fuck with the rating. I've never thought about NBA ratings while watching an NBA game.
Never.
Ever.
I wonder if anybody else is watching this. Never been a thought on my mind.
Yeah,
I wonder how this is going up against How I Met Your Mother tonight.
Right.
Like, no, I never had that thought.
Right.
Bro.
I don't. I don't mean to suggest that I give a fuck by bringing it up.
No.
But Bo said something today on Twitter that I thought was sort of like that's the needle that's been stuck in my head, which is people were replying to him, bringing it up with like, oh, well, the boomers, this and whatever else. And his response was like, not everything is analogous to dating, but I do think like at some point when you're talking about how everyone else's feelings are wrong, like you have to sort of step back and go like, I don't know, man. Like if people are if people are feeling disconnected from the league, they probably should think about that. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I also think parity plays a big part here. I think sports fans kind of want that to a degree. Like when KD went to the Warriors, I hated that because I was like, bro, 5 straight years the Warriors are going to win this shit. Where's the suspense, right?
But the ratings were probably up like
yes, the rate.
though.
That's the thing. The casual fans don't give a fuck about parity. They love to see juggernauts. Like people keep talking about trying to recapture the Magic and Bird and the MJ era. Okay, well, if you want that, you got to do away with parity. It seems like everything has been structured from CBAs, to team structuring to philosophy of basketball to level the playing field. There's so much parity. Like if you want to go back to the golden era of motherfucking MJ and Magic and Bird, where starting in 1980 with Magic's first ring to 1998, MJ's last ring, and those 18 seasons, Magic, Bird, and MJ won 14 rings. 14 rings, dog. Right? Like Houston got 2 in that run and Detroit got 2 in that run, right? Those are the other 4. So if you want that golden era of viewership, you got to get some juggernauts going. And I just do not think that, like I said, it goes back to how there's just kind of a homogenous philosophy right now, and to have the CBAs are just making the math not work for there to be juggernauts anymore either.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say it's the CBA, and it's weird that it's a weird sort of like doubles.
Yes, yep.
The owners want the ratings to go up, but the owners are making the ratings are capping the ratings by saying no more dynasties.
But I mean, the thing with this too is like that was Magic and Bird. Like the people that, over the last 20 years, but like been Bron who's been put in the front of the NBA. Like he's out of there. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? Steph, he's still great. He still has some years, but he's not the guy he was in 2016, 2017. So like, I mean, they're getting old. The people that they've pushed for so many years. So regardless, if there was like less parity, I still think it'd still be a transitional phase for the NBA, transitional period for the NBA, because the guys that they pushed for so long are not what they were. You know what I'm saying? They aren't. Having Bron talking King James, he's not King James anymore. He's LeBron James. You feel what I'm saying?
But Tyler hit it on the head, and again, like with baseball, you've seen this where it's like, the Dodgers are signing everyone, and every time someone does that, you'll see all these replies under Jeff Passan's tweet like, "This is killing baseball. This is why I'm not watching baseball." Whatever. Dodgers, Yankees, 2 Titans, 2 of the biggest payrolls.
It got me to watch a game.
Viewership was up 67%.
God damn.
I was watching that motherfucker.
From 2023. It was up 67%.
Yeah.
And so like, people could joke about like, oh, Rockets Thunder is not what the NBA wants, but like, you want to see the ratings go up? You better fucking get LeBron some help, bro. Like, you better have some dynasties, and you better have the dynasties be on some franchises that have big fan bases. The last time the World Series was over 15 million viewers average before this was when it was Astros Dodgers. The time before that, it was when the Cubs were in the World Series. The time before that, it was when the Cardinals beat the Rangers in 7 games. Like it's not going to be the fucking...
You know what I'm saying? And Ohtani on the opposite ends, and they're still great. That was 2016, basically. 2000.
Right.
You feel me? Like, so I still think getting LeBron help is not going to help the NBA at this point. You feel me? We don't. They need to find the next stars. They need to push them and get them niggas some help. You feel me? But like I said, regardless of whatever, it's still being a transitional period for sure.
All right, I appreciate you guys.
LeBron is like 1 year from he's next year is his last year, and it should be. Yeah.
He got a chase down block tonight. I think he got the new batch of roids.
Come on, dog.
This time off.
Are you a Bron is on roids guy?
Bron's on HGH, motherfucker. Bron doesn't need roids.
Come on, man. Let's stop it.
Y'all about to get us.
I refuse to have this conversation.
Y'all about to get us all breed out this motherfucker.
Hey, no. The only thing. Listen to me. LeBron, whatever LeBron James is doing is correct. I want to be clear about that. If it's just working out, he's working out in a way that is unbelievable. If he has some sort of a platelet treatment that allowed him to go play basketball today at the same old ass age that I am, where I just talked about I got too much steak stuck in my teeth. I don't know if I could podcast tonight. Stop hogging the treatment,
steak
bro.
and teeth.
DNR needs a toothpick.
Too much steak, ounce and a half of steak and teeth.
DNP, too much steak.
So yeah, man, it's fucking whatever Braun's doing. We need the skincare routine. You know what I mean?
I'm just kidding, LeBron.
Y'all
I'm
just
just kidding.
That is God.
just
You
like
hear
to-
me? That is God.
I just like to make fun.
Tyler, I have
Yes.
an HR question for you because this came up on Twitter. Do people really get fired off of Christmas parties? Like things that they do at Christmas parties, bro? This is like a real thing.
Yeah, I mean it's still a company event. Yeah, I remember I was working one job and this dude was drunk as hell. I mean, the whole thing is if you're getting fired at a Christmas party, they wanted to let your ass go for a minute.
Okay.
You just gave him an excuse because this dude was just someone who just everyone really didn't fuck with, and then he got drunk and he said some wild shit to like the CEO or some shit. So they got
What did he
him.
say though?
They said he said some shit about how he was glad that his bonus was fatter than just about everyone else. He was like he was really going up for like on some class warfare shit. Like he said some shit like that to him and he got fired for that. But because it was like real disrespectful from what I heard. I didn't see the shit. I don't be in white people's business like that. I come there and I do my little I do my little handshaking, small talking, and get the fuck out. But yeah, they said he said some real sly disrespectful shit to the CEO and got his ass fired. But it was a long time coming for that dude. So.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like it's more of a last straw situation than just
yeah.
Okay. People were talking about that, like, warning people like, hey, remember office party season's coming up. Like, don't get yourself fucked up. I was like, is that really
Don't let the eggnog get you up out of there, brother. You know what I mean?
There's no amount of drunk
on
that
that.
can make me open up to coworkers I don't fuck with to begin with. Like if I don't fuck with you, it's something in my spirit, and there's no amount of fucking white Zinfandel that's gonna change that, dog. Like I never understood wilding out at company parties, but I don't know. I feel like that's not a luxury we have.
Yeah.
But so different world there.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had newspapers don't have enough employees to have office parties. I've never really been to a holiday. I've never really been to a Christmas party like that. So I guess I
drink
I'll take
around
your word for
coworkers
it.
like that though. You know what I'm saying?
You said what?
I don't really drink around. I think I've done it one time. I don't really drink around coworkers.
Really?
I was like, yeah, but that wasn't a holiday party. That was like somebody I was cool with prior before I started working. But like, I don't really go to the party and get it cracking like that. I'm kind of,
I've seen people do some dumb stuff at holiday parties. Never seen anybody get fired over it though. Actually, never mind.
This is why I brought the topic up to Tyler, because we're old enough that things happened long enough ago that we're allowed to talk about them.
Listen, bro.
Yeah, this is like job many jobs.
I just want to tell everyone, like, don't try to think you can win on some technicality. But technically, this wasn't on office property, and I have the right to free speech. 99% of the states in the motherfucking country are at will states, bro, and that means they can fire you for whatever motherfucking reason at any motherfucking time, and ain't shit you can do about it. So don't push your luck with that shit. Don't try to see these motherfuckers in court. You're not gonna win, dog.
Can you claim entrapment if your boss bought you the alcohol?
oh wow.
I really don't know.
He made me cuss him out, Your Honor.
Got him in a speed trap, nigga.
He made me cuss him out. All right. I think it's time for Dookie Butt of the Week. Chat, we're gonna need your Dookie Butt of the Week, and then Jackson's gonna throw all of ours in a poll at the end that you could pick. I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say that my Dookie Butt of the Week are non-track appreciators, because you are missing out right now before the Olympics, 3 years before the next Olympics, on what could be the greatest track athlete, greatest sprinter of all time. People have been calling him Gout. I believe his name is actually pronounced Gwat. He is from Sudan. His family's from Sudan, but he's, I believe, born and raised, but definitely raised in Australia. He has times at 16 years old, 10.04 in the 100 and a 20.04 in the 200. He is the world record holder for U16 in the 200. He broke Usain Bolt's U16 world record in the 200 with a 20.04. And let me just lay this shit on you. He's 16. In 8 years, he'll be 24. In 2032, Brisbane, Australia, his hometown, will be hosting the Olympics as he potentially is trying to unseat some
crazy.
Usain Bolt records. But
John
Disney
and cooking up the script already, dog. Like they're gonna have some live footage in that, biopic.
Hey man, John and I texted about some of some of his U16 races. He broke an Australian national record that has stood for like 60 years.
And he doesn't even know how to come out the blocks yet. It's just all top end speed, baby.
And the top end is crazy.
Once he gets to the God part, the shit he was blessed with, it's over with. I have never, bro. When he got out the blocks, like you said, we talked about this. You said he was like 6th or 7th. Like they were talking about this race is crazy, and I watched the video thinking the white guy was gonna go crazy because he was smoking, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then like the camera changed angles, and all of a sudden he's like 5 meters in front of the white dude. Like once he hit the top end speed, it's crazy. Once he's breaking records and hasn't figured out how to push out the blocks yet.
Yeah,
I've never seen top end speed like that from a 16-year-old ever. It's
right.
and I would say it looked like top end speed that I haven't seen outside of anybody but maybe Usain. You know what I'm saying? Truth. I mean, just special. The stride, just art, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Klay Thompson's jumper, beautiful. Like if you're gonna draw a nigga, that's the stride he has. Just special. So
tap in. It's not, it's not very often you see a Wemby when he's 16 or a Braun when he's 16, but fucking guat, goddamn, bro. I don't really know how else to put it, except it's very possible that for the next like 20 years, we're all going to be astounded by everything this dude
How many
is doing.
times did you watch that video the first time you saw it?
Like 10 times.
It had to be at least 10.
I actually
confused.
did.
It's confusing.
Are you aware that this is a thing and like for like high school recruiting that kids will like put their videos at like 1.2x or like 1.1x?
No way.
Are you aware of that?
Of course they do.
So that like when they upload the huddle footage, it's like that's why like the new thing when kids are like actually seriously trying to get recruited, they put the huddle link now instead of putting their own video up on Twitter because that's how common that is.
Of course they do that.
So like, and I mean, there's actually like you can find like accounts that just post like the Hall of Fame of like the worst ones where you could see someone in the background like walking across the street at like 10x speed or whatever. Yeah,
right. Like a speed walker.
Yeah. But that, to be honest with you, John, that was the first like 5 times I watched it. I was just watching it and then I was focusing on him, and then I was like actually grabbing the whatever the dot cursor is on the video. Whatever. And then like pulling it across, just like this is really like look at the length of his stride. Look at that, like it just was like I couldn't stop looking at it, bro.
Nobody else is going you know what I'm saying? Like they weren't moving fast.
And for him to be 16,
bro,
is the craziest part. Like you say, he may as well have had a standing start. He may as well have done like a waterfall standing start.
It was, bro, just right. You know what I mean? I was really wondering, like, I started thinking about him as a pro. Like, how do you maintain this throughout a season? Like, it just doesn't. For me, it's like he's running so fast. It seemed like muscles shouldn't be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started thinking about how to like maintain health. What's his recovery looking like?
Well, did you hear that he ran that time and basically walked right onto a plane and flew to America to train? Like, you know what I mean? It was like, hey, bro, we got to get you in the hands.
What
of
his recovery
like sports scientist?
He's a child,
but like he's a child. But that, like, nigga, like,
yeah,
the body ain't supposed to move like that. It's just crazy. It's like
he's training with Noah Lyles right now. Like he immediately flew out here and was like, we better get you with. Nike's not gonna let this shit just be like. Hopefully, they have good track coaches in Brisbane.
I've just never seen somebody smoke somebody like that after such a bad start. Like, I know people there's like, you know, people that are good out the blocks, people that are top end runners, but that top end, the turnover, it's just crazy.
Tyler, your Dookie butt of the week.
My Dookie butt of the week will be all the people who are giving Caitlin Clark shit after her comments in her Time article. I don't even think this is something we need to deeply address because we've said so much on this topic before. But I mean, quite simple. We agreed that a lot of the wrong people got behind her because they wanted to push their notions on her that she has came out and just flat out adamantly denied in this article, where basically they were rooting for her because they wanted a white woman to humble black woman in a dominantly black woman space, right? And Caitlin Clark was like, I'm not with that shit at all. She was like, this league was founded on black women, and we need to exalt the black woman of this league. And if you take issue with that objectively true statement, like, you're telling on yourself, dog. You were never in this, for straight up hoops. You were in this because, like I said, you wanted to see a white woman humble black woman. And Caitlin Clark let it be known that she's not on any of that shit. And good for her. I honestly felt like she never even had to clear up that type of shit. I felt like she didn't have to speak on it, but good on her for saying, get that shit from around me. That's not what we on over here. So shout out to Caitlin.
You seen how the other players like in her, like Flage, you know what I'm saying? They fuck with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was never that weirdness amongst other players. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, but good for her for saying it though. Like, she didn't have to say it, but good for her for saying it for sure.
But it's like it was a hockey guy told the story about like someone hit Wayne Gretzky, and like a rookie, and he didn't get called into like the coach's office. He got called into the commissioner's office, and it was like, do you like having a job? It's like, of course,
how
man.
Important is hockey to you?
Like she's box office, bro. Like, I respect her so much for doing that interview, because she's like, well, hey, we're all about to make a lot of money together, and we're gonna compete our asses off, and it's gonna be fuck you, and it's gonna be fuck me. But like, I just want to state where I'm at before we all go do that. And I respect her for doing it too. I do think it reached a point where I think she did have to come out and say it. What's sad is people feel like she's really saying something. Where, like, I saw, a woman got viral and was getting dunked on for saying like, you didn't have to take a stand. All you had to do is remain neutral. It's like, she stated her neutrality. That's what she did. Yeah. She stated that she's neutral. And you, as a white woman with white kids who play basketball, could still root for her and want a white woman to succeed in the WNBA. That's as we've discussed, that's part of what sports are. The identity politics of rooting for people you identify with. But she didn't say, I don't want white people rooting for me. She said, white people are rooting for me because I'm white, which is what this woman also said in her criticism of Caitlin
But if
Clark.
she doesn't like, if she's a fan of black women, that's what she heard.
That's the thing.
I don't like white people.
Right.
That's the thing, bro. Even telling the truth on how competent and accomplished black people are is taking a side to that crowd. Right, that's the whole DEI crowd and shit. And for, like I said, that is an objectively true statement. That league was founded on the backs of black women. Like, that's inarguable. Like I said, if you're taking issue with that, you're telling on yourself, dog. Simple as that.
I hadn't really thought of the idea that Tyler said many episodes ago about how identity politics don't exist for white people because that's just like normal. That's what politics are. And and it's directly applies here, that it's like that woman who's like mad. It's like she's anything other than approaching it directly through the lens of white people is thought of as like an affront to white people
now.
Right. It's like,
and I would add that is like what dominant. That is like, that's the thing that expanding narratives is always fighting against. That's why I love WNBA fans referring to the NBA as the MNBA. You know what I mean? Like, it's the exact same thing. It's the same thing with, like, I know definitely know people who are pro trans rights, but who don't like the term cisgender, and they don't like it for that reason. They're like, well, I'm not anything. I'm just regular. You know what I mean? Like, and it's that idea of like, yeah, everyone is regular, which is why, again, like, no one's saying we're going to change the name of the NBA to the MNBA, but that's the joke. Like, that's the commentary on it. You know what I mean? This shit is so top to bottom in sports. And I always feel like local journalists, like, we can't ever do enough to point it out. But Eric Sondheimer, who is the high school sports editor at the LA Times, pointed out that the Trinity League in Southern California is St. John Bosco, Mater Dei. They've had like 7 of the last 10 national championships for high school football that have come out of this league. And he pointed out that this league, which obviously is predominantly black talent, no school in this league has ever had a black head coach. And every year when they go through the hiring, because it's almost like a college jobs, how quickly they turn over. Carson Palmer just got hired to be the Santa Margarita coach in this league. And Eric Sondheimer always tweets, we've still never had a black head coach in the Trinity League. And every year there's like 100 replies under him saying, why are you pointing this out? Why does this matter? And my response to those people is always, if it doesn't matter, then why is it true? Like, you think it's a coincidence? Or like people will be like, well, it should go to the most qualified people. So you don't think one black coach has ever been qualified to have that job? One of those 6 jobs? You like, you know, like you're telling on yourself with how obvious that is, because again, if it doesn't matter, then it wouldn't bother you that he's pointing it out. Like he's pointing like it's that simple, and it's not complicated either. All right. John, your Dookie Butt of the Week.
Did y'all? I want to point this out, but that's not my Dookie Butt of the Week. But did you? A fan of the pod, a friend of the pod. I don't say fans, friend of the pod, sent us like the video of UT Illinois game where UT had the game winner, and then the Illinois fan like pushed one of the UT players, like an old, like mid-30s, like, you know, like a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like they were celebrating after the win. They were playing in Illinois in Champaign. And then one of the fans on the front row pushed the fuck out of one of the players. Dog, I hate that shit. I despise it. That dude should never be able to go to a college game anywhere ever again. I don't know if you can do it, the NCAA as a whole, but in Illinois, they should not let him go to a game again. I hate that type of shit. It's so weird how motherfuckers forget that these players are kids. That is a 22-year-old at the most that you pushed. Fuck you forever. Get you the fuck away from these kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I hope they press charges on that goofy motherfucker for real. I hate that shit. But anyway, the Dookie Butt of the Week is me, bro. rather, you know, we talked about this thing. I think Tyler brought it up. He said, do you want to be happy or you want to be right?
You want to be right, huh?
Rather listen to the pod. And she's been using that a bunch. And I'll be honest, bro. I come to the conclusion that sometimes being right is being happy, nigga. You know what I mean? Sometimes for me to be happy, I got to be right, nigga. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, Rod, they'll talk about emotions. And sometimes, you know, you're supposed to, not sometimes, you're supposed to just listen. You know what I'm saying? And support. You feel me? Yep. But I get really caught up in like what happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, but it didn't happen this way. Like, let's talk about what happened. It's like, fuck that. You feel me? And so whenever I do that, she started calling me Professor Actual Factual. From Embarrassing Bears. And so every time I read the book to Somi and he comes into one of the books, I'm always laughing. But yeah, nigga, I'm Professor Actual Factual in my own fucking house, nigga. That's crazy. And the way she says it to us with so much disdain. All right, Professor Actual Factual, like, damn, you can't. We've been here before, my nigga. Like, come on, you feel me?
It's a brutal thing for your wife who has a doctorate to say to you. Your wife, man, who's, you know, being much invited to speak internationally on.
Right. Flown out to Dubai to speak to motherfuckers, and I'm just, all right, Professor, like, you really think you're the guy to be doing this, right? But anyway, crazy. I gotta figure it out.
Shar happened to listen to the podcast where I said she couldn't spell restaurant.
How'd she say he's on the head?
She was like, that's not the common spelled word that I misspell. It's a different ones. And I was like, all right, bro. I mean, whatever.
What is the other one? What is the actual word?
I think it's like that's what I want to know. And like it's like ENT versus ANT. Like,
okay.
But I still feel like I see her moving her lips when she's spelling restaurant. So
hey, since we snitching on our wives, you know what my wife came clean to me about?
I'm not snitching. I'm getting clowned.
Go ahead, Tyler.
She admitted a few days ago that she doesn't think Mudang, that hippo, she doesn't think she's cute. She said, I was just playing along with that shit. She called him, and I quote her words. She called him. She called her a wet piece of shit. She called that adorable hippo baby a wet piece of shit. And look, and I was like, you just hating now. But I ain't gonna lie. She said, I can't even tell which end is his head and which end is her ass. And I was like, okay, you gotta point there. was like, that is valid. But yeah, she was like, I just didn't want to be a party pooper, but I think it's the ugliest motherfucker on the planet, dog.
Hey, I ain't mad at her. I think points were made.
I kind of with
her, bro.
I'm kind of with
kinda
Summer.
her.
I also think Summer would probably be the second funniest person on this podcast.
I've been telling her,
bro.
man, pod might be her calling, dog. She don't want to listen.
It's still my
That's
Jenkins and Jones
hilarious.
dream to do an all wives podcast at some point, bro.
The chat's
just the
dying.
three of us take a night off, and fucking Summer and Radha and Shar just get to make fun of us for an hour. And
She called that precious baby
can
a
do it
wet
at some
piece of
point.
shit.
A wet
I
piece
was
of
like,
shit.
God.
That's so
Not
funny.
knowing the ass from the face is hilarious.
Hey,
So
that's
my
facts,
Dookie
though.
butt of the week is people who don't watch track. Tyler's is people who didn't appreciate Caitlin Clark. Summers is Mudang.
Dang.
John's is himself.
John's is John.
Yeah, Jackson, who's your Dookie butt of the week?
Mine, this is coincidence, but we're keeping with the theme today, is white people food. I saw a clip the other day. I saw like a week ago, but I was saving it for Dookie butt of the week. Of someone saying, I mean, sometimes I feel like people just might be trolling, but for clicks. But this person was like, you guys know what time it's this time of year when the weather gets cold. You know what time it is. Time for, and there's a video of her doing this as she's narrating it. It's chili and cinnamon roll season.
No, that's gotta be
spooning,
trolling, bro.
ladling chili
That
over
has
a
to be-
cinnamon
that
roll,
has to be
and
trolling.
No,
it's
They
got to
put
be trolling.
I think that
raisins
is a
in
real
fucking-
thing, though.
It might be real, bro.
No.
It inspired me to think maybe we should do a new segment about white people food, where how many whites is it on a scale of 1 to 10 whites? You know,
This is a real thing, considered a classic pairing in the American Midwest, particularly in states like Kansas and Nebraska, often associated with nostalgic diner food
No.
or school lunches.
Do they put raisins in potato
so
salad?
it's like the dessert version of Skyline chili.
No,
They're
this is
putting
a
chili
this is
over it.
this is a
You
real
know what I'm
thing.
saying? Don't they put raisins in potato salad? If you're
They do,
doing
they do
that,
all types of
I'll
stuff.
never question. Like,
I can't believe Mike was so shocked that was.
like
I mean, I
that's
grew up
crazy.
on the West Coast around people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
don't cook white food, bro. Like this is
Chili
difficult for
and
me to.
cinnamon rolls. The chat is also confirming it's a real thing. In the
I'll give the
and
Midwest
Nebraska.
this. If
I've
you go to
never-
like a supper club where there's like the steaks there, sometimes we don't have anything like that out here. Like the steaks are amazing out there, but chili and cinnamon rolls.
I will say this in the Midwest. I
Not
think
good.
the Midwest has the biggest distance between white food and black food. I think in the
Clearly.
South, in the
Mm.
South, you could get a good meal at a white home. You know what I'm saying? Like in the Midwest,
This is a great theory.
I think like there's a huge gap between black homes and white homes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like we got shit like muscatoli and shit. Like white people don't think the same thing about Chinese food that we think. You know what I'm saying? Like our way we eat, totally different life. You know what I mean? But it's super like
Yeah,
segregated as well. So
Yeah, is it like Minnesota or Iowa that does that thing with just straight up raw ground beef and onions and salt and pepper? Like,
Oh yeah,
No.
they call that
Yeah.
what they had a name for it or some shit. I think it is Minnesota.
They call it food poisoning.
No,
What do they
no,
call
no,
it?
it was like-
botulism.
Minnesota
call it
raw
botulism.
ground beef dish.
What?
I'm looking it up.
botulism is funny.
Cannibal
Oh.
sandwiches.
Cannibal sandwiches.
Cannibal sandwiches.
Oh, that of course they call it that. Of course they call it that.
Come Christmas time, Bunzel's
No, I
goes
don't
for
wanna
over
hear all this.
1,000 pounds of raw beef and about 250 pounds of raw onions exclusively for cannibal sandwiches.
Raw onions. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
Also called tiger meat.
Oh, okay. The chat
This
has
ruined my
voted,
night.
and
You
the
ruined
people.
my night by telling me about the cinnamon roll chili. I really,
Well,
I
Had-
really.
sounds like it's the Dookiest
I'm
bud
gonna,
to me,
I'm gonna
but
have
the chat,
a hard
the chat
time
disagrees.
taking that. Like It will be 12:30 in the morning. I will be going to sleep thinking about that tonight. I will have a hard time getting that out of my head. That really bothers me.
You can see how I've been sitting on this for a while.
What bothers me
like
is
wanting
that
to
someone is
hold it
sitting at a
in, you know?
table, like antsy about like bring the
Oh yeah.
cinnamon roll and chili out.
Oh yeah, brother.
It was supposed to be ready at 6. I had an early lunch.
The fuck?
The chat voted, and they said the winner of the Dookiest butt of the week is people giving Caitlin Clark shit.
Okay.
Fuck him.
And the chat's Dookie butt of the week is Travis Hunter's girlfriend.
Oh, man.
I don't like this,
What's,
bro.
okay. What? No.
I don't
What-
either,
no,
but
what
they
happened?
it was
What
pretty
happened? What
universal in
happened?
the chat.
I'll just say this much. As someone who's kind of a mentor a bit to my younger cousins, a mentor to my 21-year-old godson, you have to let men of that age learn things on their own, and I'll leave it at that. That
What
shit ain't
made-
our business.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what? Okay,
People been on his head because his girlfriend is Hispanic.
She said he's not her type. That's all I've heard.
Yeah,
People
she
been
said he
on her.
wasn't his
People have been
type,
like
and-
putting up clips of like her, like the one I thought was the first one I saw where I understood this was like a big thing. I thought was kind of fucked up. Was like at the Heisman ceremony, she
Dion
was
had
the
to
last person to stand
beckoning
up.
her to stand up.
But like people,
And then after he was
don't know
taking
what
pictures with
standing,
fans and she was
like
sitting
some
down
people,
and
like I don't like judging anyone's personality or relationships through like clips that someone felt. Like I just don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the whole thing, bro. Like, and some people it's just weird or whatever. I think to Tyler's point, yeah, bro. Like, maybe she sucks. I don't know.
Yeah, that's his decision to make, though. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, let that man live and learn on his own. And I'm not saying that spitefully or whatever. You can't tell a 21-year-old shit, especially a 21-year-old who's about to be a top 5 pick who's just won the Heisman. Come on.
Yeah.
Let that young man figure things out on his own.
But I
And
saw a
think
lot of
we should
people
say the
using
fuck
it
out
as
of
like a pro Ashton Genty argument that was like he said that his girlfriend introduced him to like Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is
That
a
was
black
funny.
dude who had a Hispanic girlfriend introduce him. to
No,
Lil Wayne.
he said like 21 and Lil Baby are his favorite rappers.
Okay,
that's just
okay.
that's just a generational divide.
Generation,
like Weezy's,
yeah.
Weezy's run was what 2004 to 2009. This kid was born 2003. Like so yeah, that's generational more so than
Yeah.
culture there for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, chat. We'll give it to you. I'll give the chat that one, I guess, bro. I don't know. It's just like, I think it's, I don't know. I guess, let me, to lay my cards on the table. I've known a lot of kids who've gone through the process of going from being a high school athlete to being a college athlete to being a pro athlete. And it's a weird fucking process. And like, I've seen stuff where from the outside, you might look at it and go like, oh, wow, that's someone who's like chasing it or whatever. And then it's not. Like, I know the people involved and it's not that way or whatever, And so it's just a weird, like, I'll say this. I'm glad my relationship because I've been with my wife since we were 18. I'm glad that no one was filming that and that strangers weren't like able to see random clips out of our month. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a weird situation to be in. And I'm not even saying I think Tyler or people are wrong about like, he just has to learn his own lessons because there may be a lesson to be learned there.
I mean, what 21-year-old has ever just heeded the advice of their elders without learning on their own about anything? Right? We were 21 before. Like I said, let the young man live and learn on his own.
Well, it's so reflexive. Like my elders were telling me I shouldn't get engaged when I was 21. And I literally was just in their face like, you are divorced. You are miserable. Like you are the last person in the world I would listen to about advice about who to get married to, dog. Like,
Okay, what was your actual words? Were these your actual words?
yes.
I hope so.
I told my uncle looked me dead in my face and was like, "You're too young to get engaged." I said, "You were fucking divorced at 24 years old, and I wouldn't want your marriage right now, dog. Like you telling me I shouldn't get engaged? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like
what?
you're supposed to say congratulations, little
That nigga
homie."
said,
Like,
"How dare you?"
how dare
Yeah.
you? How dare
Look,
you?
our friend Adam, who's a rabbi, told off Char's mom. She said to him at the wedding, she thought we were too young to get married. He was like, they have the happiest relationship of anyone I've known. That's what he told me. He's like, you talk about Mike and Char?
Are we talking about the same people?
You are talking about Mike and Char. Anyway, but yeah, someone had that tweet about Drea, bro. It was just like, my big homies could say whatever the fuck they want to say, bro. If I was 21 with $15 million, you could not drag me away from Drea, bro.
I don't need all this money anyway. Who needs all of this? No, that's crazy. I don't know. I think at that age, it would have been very hard to get me to get married. That's what's crazy. I mean, Mike, you're different. You know what I'm saying? That's just like 21. I think you're married like a month after the draft. Like that.
Yeah.
That's
What I've told
I worry about that. I mean, like you said, it could be totally different. You know what I mean?
what I have told athletes is the same thing that I tell any kid that asks me for advice or brings a situation to us, which kids actually do. You know, like and they talk to my wife too, like her students. She's one of those teachers that like she doesn't get a lunch period by herself because this kid's in there. She has literally a chair that's just for kid, like come and bring me your problems. You're gonna come sit in this chair. We'll talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And I would just tell them like it's the whole point of winning freedom from like religious theocracy, like whatever. The whole point was so that individuals could exist. It wasn't so that no one would get married or like whatever else. And so if you're someone who's ready to be married when you're 21 or 22 years old, listen to your stupid fucking family about that shit.
For sure.
And if you're someone who doesn't want to get married until you're 40, then don't get married until you're 40. Like, but you know, my thing is most people are self-aware enough to have some understanding about what they actually want, or not what they want, but what they need to sort of be in a peaceful place. And that's what we had. It wasn't, neither of us were let's get married at this age type of people. I would put it like that,
right.
or like we're gonna wait till we get, you know, it was none of that in it. But like that's just where we were at. And you know, we would have got married younger. My dad hadn't have fucking offed himself. We can get married when we were 22. You know, but.
I mean, it's projection. Obviously, I'm talking about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's how I felt at that time period. You know what I mean? But I do understand holding on to who you have before shit gets like you're in the league. And I think it's weird when people get a build a bare ass chick. You know what I mean? And all that weird shit. I think that's gross. You know what I mean? But I do think you should hold on to the people you have. You know,
build a bear.
It's a different term for real, but I ain't gonna say it. You feel what
I'm
saying?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Build a bear.
Build a bear is where we gonna go with it. But yeah, so
I don't think the pro leagues have gotten better at providing resources to kids. I don't think that you could, similar to how like if you ever meet someone who is a child actor, there's just no way to grow up normal when that was your experience. I don't think there's a way for people to understand how different the life experience of going from like, I'm a college athlete. And like a lot of these athletes, the richest pro athlete I know he was a mid-major college football player. Like, you know what I mean? And he developed in college. And then all of a sudden overnight, it's like, here's $50 million. You got an electrical engineering degree. Like there's just no way to describe how crazy that is. And like, yeah, if you have something that you feel comfortable with, you have to hang on to that because every person who meets you after that meets you as a different person than you are in your own head. And that is such an alienating experience that it's why you have all these mental health issues in athletes where the average person might go, well, if I had $50 million in the bank, whatever, it's like, if you went to the grocery store and everyone thought you were a different person than you were, that would drive you a little bit crazy, bro. Like, and you don't see yourself as a $50 million athlete. You see yourself as
a
from
human.
This block or this city or whatever. Anyway. All right. I don't know how we got off on all that shit, but that's
Anyway, we'll be live Tuesday night after the NBA Cup.
We're looking forward to that. Tyler and I got the Bucks. No. John and I got the Bucks. Tyler's got the Thunder. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Jackson, who you got?
I also have the Thunder.
Okay. We'll ask the chat Tuesday night. Well, no, the game will be over. Tweet at us. All right. We'll see y'all Tuesday night. Bye.
Hey, do the Twitter thing with us. Bye.